And they took my baby away after she came home from work. She was still in her work uniform. They took her from me. I'm in a lot of pain, worst pain I ever felt in my life. They broke my chain. They took her. This is something she has to live through the rest of her life. She remembered everything that happened to her mom. And that's so heartbreaking. Never see her again. I'll never touch my baby again. I'll never be able to kiss my baby. I'll never be able to hear my baby laugh, play with her nieces and nephews.
Another day in the office.
The video you see now shows a man counting cash with a disturbing smile. This isn't a lottery winner or business owner. This is a hitman who just minutes earlier had gunned down a young mother and wounded her 3-year-old child. On May 3rd, 2021, Luchante Jones had just finished her shift at Miami International Airport. After closing from work, she drove home to her apartment in the Coral Bay Cove neighborhood, looking forward to a peaceful evening with her daughter. But her life would end before she could even reach her front door. As Luchante walked with her little girl across the parking lot, security cameras captured the unthinkable. A dark Nissan pulled up, a masked figure emerged, and gunshots shattered the quiet afternoon. In seconds, a dedicated TSA agent lay dying on the pavement while her terrified child looked on. But what investigators would soon discover turned this tragedy into something even more sinister. This wasn't random violence. It was a calculated execution, a murder-for-hire plot fueled by revenge, witness intimidation, and a shocking source of funding. This is the devastating story of a mother whose promising future was stolen in broad daylight, the child who witnessed it all, and the twisted conspiracy that left a family forever broken. This is the life and death of Luchante Jones. Welcome to Hidden Crime Network. We dig deeper into true crime cases, analyze evidence, expose what was missed, and fight for justice for victims and their families. Please support us by hitting on that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications right away and join our justice-seeking community. Drop a comment telling us if you have witnessed such a tragedy. Are you in Miami-Dade, New York? Let us know where you are watching from while you stay tuned for the heartbreaking story of Luchante Jones.
From this orange evidence marker to the stairs stained with dry blood, signs of the deadly shooting Monday. Sky 10 over the scene, showing the body of 24-year-old Luchante Jones laying for hours at the foot of a staircase.
We're trying to figure out what was the motive here. We're trying to figure out what caused this type of senseless violence.
Before tragedy struck, Luchante Jones was a vibrant 24-year-old woman with dreams that extended far beyond the headlines her story would later make. Those who knew her describe a person whose energy was infectious. Someone who brought light into every room she entered with her warm smile and compassionate spirit. Growing up in Miami, Luchante formed deep bonds with family that defined her character. Her mother, Darlene Dukes, later shared how Luchante would call her multiple times daily, a testament to their close relationship that remained central to her life until the very end. Luchante's determination showed in her career path. After working in retail, she secured a position with the Transportation Security Administration at Miami International Airport, a role that represented stability and growth. Her colleagues remember her professionalism and dedication to public safety, always taking her responsibilities seriously while maintaining her naturally friendly demeanor. In 2017, Luchante experienced the joy that would become her greatest purpose when she welcomed her daughter Alaya into the world. Motherhood wasn't just a role for Luchante, it became her calling. She embraced every moment with Alaya, organizing her life around providing the best possible future for her little girl. The modest apartment at Coral Bay Coves represented independence for Luchante and Alaya. There, she created a loving home where they built daily routines and shared special moments together. In videos later shared by family, you can see Luchante teaching Alaya songs, encouraging her development, and showering her with the affection that defined their relationship. None of her loved ones could have imagined that their final chapter together would unfold in the parking lot of the place they called home. On May 3, 2021, Luchante was returning home after a long day at Miami International Airport. Her routine was the same as any other weekday: clock out, pick up Aliyah, and head home to their apartment. Security cameras at Coral Bay Coves captured her pulling into the parking lot around 3:15 p.m. Luchante had no reason to suspect danger as she helped her daughter from the car. The afternoon sun was still high, neighbors were around, and she was just steps from her front door. This should have been the most ordinary moment of an ordinary day. Then the dark gray Nissan appeared. Surveillance footage later recovered by police shows the vehicle pulling up alongside Luchante's parking space. A man in dark clothing exits quickly, approaches mother and child, and without warning, opens fire. Multiple shots echo through the complex. Luchante collapsed near the stairwell leading to her apartment. Her 3-year-old daughter, standing right beside her, was also struck. Blood stained the pavement as neighbors came running, but it was already too late for Luchante. First responders pronounced her dead at the scene. Aliyah survived with injuries to her ankle, physical wounds that would eventually heal, unlike the emotional trauma of watching her mother die before her eyes. When Darlene Dukes received the call about her daughter, her world collapsed. Racing to the scene only to be held back by police tape, she described it later as the moment time stopped. Her daughter was gone, her granddaughter injured, and no explanation made sense. The question in everyone's mind: what could possibly explain such a calculated attack on a young mother and her child? Was this random violence or something more targeted? If you have a theory about what happened to Luchante, drop it in the comments below while we dig further. Was this a case of mistaken identity? Or did someone have a specific motive to silence this young mother forever?
For Darlene Dukes, it's the silence of her cell phone
I miss her calling me.
that sparks a daily jolt of pain.
Me and her talked about a lot of stuff.
No incoming calls or texts from Mommy's angel.
That was taken from us.
The vacuum of her daughter's presence, a daily reminder of her brutal murder 1 year ago today.
So when I heard killed her, it's like my body went numb.
As detectives dug into Luchante's life, they quickly realized this wasn't random violence. One name kept surfacing in their investigation: Jasmine Martinez. The connection between the two women wasn't new. Back in 2018, police records showed Jasmine had been arrested for physically attacking Luchante during an argument. That charge alone might have seemed like ancient history, but investigators discovered this was just the first chapter in a story of escalating hatred. The breakthrough came when detectives followed the money. Financial records revealed something shocking. Jasmine had recently received a $15,000 Paycheck Protection Program loan, supposedly for her small beauty salon. The timing raised immediate red flags. Just days before Luchante's murder, Jasmine had withdrawn more than $10,000 in cash. This wasn't just about a past fight. As investigators pieced together the timeline, a more sinister motive emerged. Luchante had recently given court testimony against Kelly Nelson, Jasmine's former boyfriend. Nelson faced serious charges that could put him away for life if convicted. Luchante had been brave. Despite threats and bribes attempting to silence her, she showed up in court and told the truth. What she couldn't have known was how dangerous her honesty would become. Police discovered that after that testimony, Jasmine's rage reached a breaking point. Phone records would later reveal her determination to permanently silence the woman who dared to speak against someone she cared about. The random shooting in a parking lot suddenly wasn't random at all. It was revenge, cold and calculated, against a witness who refused to be intimidated.
Years. Her mom says it started with a disagreement about a boy.
I just never knew it would come to this, for her to have her murdered.
And ended with Martinez hiring a man to kill her, say police, shooting Jones as a mother was holding her little girl, Alea Johnson, grazed by gunfire.
Grazed one right here, bullet fragments here and right here.
However, the story took an even darker turn. In a series of phone calls and messages, Jasmine and her boyfriend Romiel Robinson began planning the murder. Romiel, acting as the middleman, reached out to Javon Carter, a man with a history of violent crime. Together, they devised a plan to murder Luchante in cold blood. But first, they reached out to Luchante. On March 25, 2021, just days before the murder, Luchante was approached by the same group who offered her money to retract her testimony. They even threatened her with more violence if she refused to comply. But despite the threats, Luchante remained steadfast, refusing to back down and standing firm in her decision. The most chilling discovery was still to come. On February 11, 2021, investigators discovered a phone conversation between Jasmine and her ex-boyfriend, Kelly Nelson. Jasmine's anger toward Luchante had grown over the years. But it wasn't until February 2020, after Luchante had given her deposition against Nelson for witness tampering, that the situation became critical. Desperate, Jasmine made a chilling phone call to Nelson from jail, saying she was ready to go kill Luchante. Just days before the murder, Romiel made arrangements for Javon to carry out the hit. They went to great lengths to coordinate the hit using coded language to discuss their plan. If you're finding this story as shocking as we did, please hit that share button right now and turn on notifications. More people need to know about Luchante's bravery and the justice her family deserves. These types of crimes happen more often than we think. Staying informed is the first step to preventing them.
And I did a wonderful job. Please, y'all say something.
On April 20th, 2021, Romiel reached out to Javon to arrange a price for the job. Phone records later revealed discussions about numbers and the value of the hit. With a final plan set in motion, Javon Carter, with his violent history and willingness to do whatever it took for money, became the key player in a scheme that would destroy a family forever. Jasmine's role was withdrawing the substantial sum from her federal relief loan. Records showed she had received $15,000 meant to help her beauty salon survive during the pandemic. Instead, investigators believe she diverted that money to fund murder. The case took a stunning turn when detectives discovered what Javon had done immediately after the shooting. In a move that displayed shocking arrogance, he had recorded himself on his own phone, counting a large stack of cash while smiling into the camera. This wasn't just evidence, it was practically a confession. "Just another day at the office," he said casually, as though taking a mother's life was nothing more than routine business. Evidence from the crime scene, combined with Javon's phone records and surveillance footage, placed him at the exact location and time of the shooting. His digital trail painted a clear picture of his movements before, during, and after Luchante's murder. The investigation was building an airtight case. Tracing communications between all three suspects revealed a carefully coordinated conspiracy spanning months. Text messages, phone calls, money transfers. Each piece strengthened the connection between Jasmine's hatred, Romiel's organization, and Javon's trigger finger. As detectives followed these digital breadcrumbs, they realized they weren't just solving a murder. They were uncovering a plot that exploited a pandemic relief program to silence a witness permanently.
And according to prosecutors, Martinez had originally received a $15,000 PPP loan from the federal government for her business, but then used $10,000 of it to pay Carter to kill Jones. All three of them have pleaded innocent in this case. We are live in Virginia Gardens. Ari Odzer, NBC6 News.
In June 2021, the investigation culminated in the arrests of all three suspects. Jasmine Martinez, Romiel Robinson, and Javon Carter were each charged with first-degree murder for Luchante's death. The evidence against them was overwhelming. Phone records connected all three in the days leading up to the murder. Bank statements showed the suspicious withdrawal from Jasmine's PPP loan. Surveillance footage placed Javon at the crime scene. And most damning of all, his own video counting cash shortly after the shooting. Beyond the murder charges, Romiel and Jasmine face additional counts related to witness tampering and conspiracy. Investigators revealed that Romiel had served 11 years for armed robbery and aggravated assault before his release in 2020. He had already been arrested on drug trafficking charges just months before Luchante's murder. Despite the mountain of evidence, each defendant entered not guilty pleas when they appeared before a Miami-Dade judge. The prosecution made it clear they would pursue the case to its fullest extent, citing the calculated nature of the crime and the exploitation of government aid to fund it. The judge denied bail for all three suspects, deeming them not only flight risks but ongoing threats to the community and potential witnesses in other cases. What do you think about a justice system that couldn't protect Luchante despite multiple warning signs? Should there be stronger protections for witnesses who come forward? Comment below with your thoughts on what needs to change to prevent tragedies like this from happening again. Luchante's death has left a permanent scar on her family, especially her young daughter, who will grow up without the loving presence of her mother. Luchante's mother, Darlene Dukes, has spoken out about the devastating impact in several heart-wrenching interviews. "My life changed forever," Darlene shared, describing how she misses her daughter's daily phone calls and presence. "It's not even about me. Think about the pain caused to my granddaughter who has to grow up motherless." The most profound victim in this tragedy remains little Aliyah. Beyond her physical injuries, a bullet grazed her ankle and left fragments in her side. The psychological wounds run much deeper. According to her grandmother, Aliyah remembers everything about that terrible day. Each day brings new questions from the child. Why did the bad guy do that to my mommy? And why can't the police catch him? Questions that have no satisfying answers for a child so young. To help Aliyah cope with her enormous loss, the family has taken extraordinary measures. Luchante's twin sisters, Darnisha and Darna, are raising her alongside their own children. They show Aliyah videos of her mother singing, and even captured Luchante's voice in a teddy bear, so the little girl can still hear her mother speak. The community has rallied around this fractured family, organizing vigils and support networks. But nothing can fill the void left by a mother taken too soon, or erase what a 3-year-old witnessed in those horrifying moments outside their apartment. The public is still grappling with the fact that Luchante's life was taken because of a revenge scheme funded by pandemic relief money. Her story highlights disturbing failures in witness protection and the darker possibilities of government aid programs being exploited for criminal purposes. In the wake of this tragedy, community leaders in Miami have rallied around the Jones family. Local organizations have raised awareness about witness intimidation and the dangerous consequences when the justice system fails to protect those brave enough to testify in court. The lessons from Luchante's case are painfully clear. First, our witness protection systems need urgent strengthening. Someone who does the right thing shouldn't pay with their life. Second, financial oversight of relief programs must be tightened to prevent exploitation for violent ends. And perhaps most importantly, we must recognize how quickly personal conflicts can escalate to deadly violence when left unchecked. A memorial service was held for Luchante in the days following her death, with colleagues from TSA, family members, and friends gathering to honor her memory. 1 year later, a candlelight vigil at Dempsey Park brought the community together again, both to remember Luchante and to demand justice for her and Aliyah. As the legal proceedings continue, Luchante's family remains determined that her story won't be forgotten. They've channeled their grief into advocacy, speaking out about needed reforms in witness protection and support systems for victims' families. For little Aliyah, no court verdict can restore what she lost that day, but her family is committed to ensuring she grows up knowing her mother's courage and love, not just the tragedy of how she was taken. What do you think about this case? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story important, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more investigations that seek justice for victims like Luchante Jones. Until next time, remember, courage in the face of threats deserves our protection, not punishment, and the true measure of justice is how well we safeguard those who stand for truth. Stay safe, stay aware, and thank you for joining us today. See you on another story from the Hidden Crime Network. Bye for now.